Yo, what's poppin', everybody? I want to welcome y'all back to the No Level Cap podcast. Got to introduce y'all to the crew. We got the collector of collectors and Twitch streamer extraordinaire, Will Coleman. Will, what's up with them streams lately, man?
I've been slacking because last week was a little bit more hectic. This week, I just kind of slid off the edge, but I did get this. So,
Crisis Core.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so expect that after Trails in the Sky. Expect that.
All right, that's what's up. Where can they see that stream, bro?
At twitch.tv/WillieDC28. Come see me.
There we go. That's what I want to hear. Next up, we got the Black Daredevil and the best actor in Austin, Texas, Terrence Flowers. Terrence, what happened with the Street Fighter beta, man? You the only one that got in, man. You too good for Capcom now?
Oh, you decided to ask that anyway, huh? No, that's a joke to before the podcast. No, I did get into the beta. I just hadn't had time to hop on it like I wanted to. Funny enough, I actually spent this morning catching up, finishing an anime so that I could decide where I wanted to put it on my list for today. So, I was doing research for the podcast.
Shit. You was doing hard work. You the hard working man. Fuck that beta then. Never mind.
No, I plan on getting on the beta though. Like seriously, I do plan on playing a little bit either like later tonight or sometime tomorrow. I'll try and get on it. I at least want to see what it's like. Smell the game a little bit.
Yeah. All right, man. Next up, we got the living cartoon and the man with the golden voice, Rakeem Beck. What's poppin', Rakeem? How's God of War going?
Man, all I know I've known for the past few weeks is Rage, Boy, and Teenage Angst. And I got to say, I'm loving all of it. I'm still playing God of War. I've been taking my time with it. My work schedule has kind of made it so I've been a little tired after work, so I haven't played as much as I would like to, but I've been catching up. And every time I pick it up, I'm still enjoying it. It's kicking me in the face because I'm on hard mode, but you know what? It's a good kick in the face. It's getting me back up in there. Kratos is getting back up in there and proving them why, he took out one Pantheon, he might take out another. So I'm ready to get back into it and hope to finish it up probably in the next week or two.
I mean, you playing God of War at the pace that a person with a life would play it, as opposed to like either somebody who their only hobby is gaming, which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that, or the pace of somebody that like, oh, hey man, this is my job, and so I have to play it like really quickly and get through it in like a week and a half. But like it's a long game, so I'm not surprised you're still on it. I just wanted to ask and see, what the progress was. Lastly, we got the master of games, Mr. One Punch Man himself, Devin Butts. What's poppin', Devin? How's Chained Echoes? I believe you were playing.
Actually been playing a lot of different games on Game Pass recently. Just playing some stuff that I haven't played this year. Chain Echoes is actually really good. Mr. Rakeem Beck, he referred the game to me, and it's actually really enjoyable. I played some stuff such as Metal Hellsinger, which is actually fire. And I'm not gonna lie, after playing the game,
it's fire in there.
I ain't gonna lie though, after them Game Award winners, I ain't gonna lie, that the soundtrack, I don't know, man. Somebody might pay somebody. I don't know.
I tried to tell you. I said, man, this don't make no sense.
I can't lie, man. I said I just want to try it. I want to see, and I was in the demons like this. So but I've been having some fun with those games. Also, you called me the master of games, but apparently I can't get no beta. So, I guess that's one game I won't master. So, hey, it's all good, though, man. I ain't going to say too much. I don't want to crown on stream.
Hey, man, you have until June 2nd.
Hey, man, that's a long ways off, man.
That is definitely a long.
It'll be an open beta before then.
It will definitely be an open beta between now and June 2nd. They got to test the servers, if nothing else.
See me if it ain't.
Lastly, I am Sage Ashford, the man who won't shut up. If you didn't know, No Level Cap goes live every Monday. We go live for YouTube listeners, but if you prefer the audio version, we're live on Spotify as well. We're also on the Tickety Talk, so we're everywhere you want to see us. Since we're closing out the year, I wanted to talk about the best anime of the year. But I didn't want to do the usual thing we do. We come in here and we give a top 5 and we all move on. I wanted to build a top 10. That might involve a little arguing. It might involve a few tears, probably for me. I probably picked something that nobody gives a shit about, and it's gonna wind up at the bottom of the list. And at the end of the podcast, I'll go off and cry sad songs in the background while the Incredible Hulk theme plays, blink, 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 that type shit.
No.
But it's all good. Because we are going to. I'm gonna be fighting that bitch. I'm gonna be fighting for my favorite shit. So we're gonna see how it turns out. So I do want to let y'all know this is how it's gonna work. I know a lot. I know what a lot of us have seen, and I know there's some overlap. But outside of that, your number 1, it'll be worth 5 points. Your number 2, it'll be worth 3 points. Your number 3 will be worth 2 points, and your 4th and 5th will be worth 1 point. So let's get it. Will,
Yo.
What's up, man? What's the top 5? Your top 5 anime of the year?
All right, so my top 5, because I've been doing catch up here and there over like the past week, just kind of watching stuff that I know I've been like keeping up with, and I'm gonna go ahead and knock these 5 out right now, starting from the bottom at 5, because I feel like I've been needing this anime and it's been really good and I enjoy it. Blue Lock, because I needed a sports anime in that list. I needed one, and it reminds me so much of Kuroko. I felt like I see what's going on here. I enjoy the show a ton, and I'm gonna catch the last couple episodes soon because I know we're like at episode 11 right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and watch that probably after this. Number 4, Isekai Oji-san. Simply for the
yes, let's go. Let's go.
I love it. I love it so much. Simply for the silliness and just everything behind it. It makes me feel kind of old sometimes too, but I like it.
I'm glad somebody else here watched it. I'm glad.
Yeah. Number 3. I've been watching this. I've been definitely catching up on this because it's just interesting to me. I like the premise of it. Call It a Night. I've been enjoying that quite a bit. It's a great little something. It's a romance and shonen. I haven't really seen the shonen part of it yet because it hadn't really kind of showed itself to me, at least. Maybe a little.
I think when they say it's a shonen, it's just like it's published in a shonen manga.
Shonen manga,
kind of like how what's that? There's like romance anime that are published in shonen a lot
Quintessential
now.
quintuplets.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay then. Well,
What's the other one?
It's like
Dress Up Darling, I believe.
I guess that counts. Yeah, I guess that's shonen.
Yeah, that should count. Yeah. But that's one of my favorite like romances of the year, and it's definitely gonna be in there for a minute. Now the top 2 might be a little contentious. Don't attack me in the comments.
Let's go.
Don't attack me in your head. I'm sure somebody's gonna agree with me. I'm sure somebody's gonna tell me I'm a dumbass. But my number 2 is Chainsaw Man. That's my number 2.
Nice.
I know it's been the hottest thing smoking since it came out because the manga just hit the ground running and everybody loves it. I love it. I do. I love it. It's great. I love the animation style. I love everything going on in that show. And Denji and Power are just funny as hell. Now, last but not least, my number 1. And
glad you watching Chainsaw Man and you ain't out here watching Clorox.
I definitely ain't been watching Clorox, man. I've been letting Clorox sick.
Lord.
Or you could be watching Pine Soul.
I could be.
What's my bad, Brian? Me to interrupt you. What's your number 1?
My number 1 is pretty obvious. Spy Family. I'm sorry, but this show just wins. It just works. Like how? Like I can't help but watch it every time, and I'm always leaving with a smile on my face because there's something that's always gonna happen that makes me fucking happy with the show. Spy Family at number 1.
So, that's a solid top 5. It is. I appreciate you because I believe Terrence recommended 2 of those 5 to us. Isekai Oji-san, and I believe Terrence, you were the one that brought up Call of the Night, right?
Yeah, I did. Even though, funny enough, it's one of those that I want to get back to. Yeah, but yeah.
Everything I've seen from Call of the Night makes me want to go back and check it out. Like every time somebody shows me a clip, I'm like, oh, these are very interesting looking characters. It's a pretty world. Like everything about it, it just seems like kind of relaxing comedy type show with like some romance elements to it. And I'm like, yeah, I could see myself fucking with this because it's not a long show, is it? It's like 12 episodes or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I definitely want to go back and check that out. Devin, what's up, man? I know you've been off the show, so I actually don't know what you've been keeping up with, and so like I have no idea what your top 5 is gonna look like. What you got for me, man?
All right, so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go from bottom up. There've been a few animes I've been running across, and 2 in particular that caught my fancy on Netflix because they just looked like they had the style that I was interested in. and I didn't like start one until like recently. And one of them I really like is Spriggan. That's my number 5. This is I ain't gonna lie. I love the animation style. One is one anime that I've seen that has done 3D decently. It doesn't look like off-putting and weird. And it also reminds me of a slick Metal Gear Solid anime. And I'm not gonna lie, that's something that in my heart has wanted for a long time that I never knew I needed. But the feel of it, the main character, his outfit kind of looks like a Solid Snake outfit. Even like the people, like some of the enemies that they have, antagonists, they have like this Russian Soviet style feel to them. Very stylish. The main character, he reminds me. I think his name is Yu. Reminds me
Yes.
of He reminds me of Genos, like the way he looks. With like these, they got like these cybernetic enhancement suits they use. And of course, it's good action. So I like it. My number 4 is something I've been watching with Rakeem a little bit. And Will mentioned this, and it does remind me of Kuroko no Basket. That's Blue Lock. I don't know what it is, man. Ever since I started watching Hajime no Ippo, and the fact that anime can just make sports that you're not even interested in just so freaking fire. It's just like anytime I see something that reminds me of this, I mean, the same thing. It's like they on the field. They got these. I don't know how they do it where you're on the court. It's in real time, but you know how they do in anime. They have this long little set piece of somebody talking. Well, he's coming around with his left foot, but I think he's going to do a slide. It's like, bro, ain't y'all playing? Like, how y'all stopping time? I love that type of stuff with these
The
anime.
world.
Yeah.
They be out there on the field so serious. Then they get off the field, they all them like weird and quirky. You got people sitting up. It's amazing. So when I started seeing Rakeem watched it, I said I gotta get in on this. Now, some people do like cleaning products, and bleach is my number 3 because I've been waiting for this for a long time. I can't lie, man.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
And I know Bleach is like one of those, I guess you could say those cookie cutters, but I do actually enjoy Bleach. I started reading the manga for this last chapter long time ago when it first started, and I was like, man, this would be so fire if they actually animated this. And the fact that after so long they actually did, I'm actually enjoying it. It's going by super fast.
Yeah.
It's like stuff is happening like so fast every episode. It's like, bruh, the first episode, doggone, head captain's right hand man gets killed. Like, bro, the episode just started.
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? But I gotta give his props, man. I mean, it's animated beautifully. We about to get to the nitty gritty of this stuff, and hey, man, it's Clorox, man. You can't hate on Clorox, man. My number 2 is Chainsaw Man. When I first saw this, I'm like, bro, this is going down my alley. I love anime with these weird. I'm like, why does he have a chainsaw as a head? So that was my first question. I'm already interested. When I see stuff like that, it almost kind of puts me in a mindset of Fooly Cooley, like just a lot of weird, crazy stuff going on. But Chainsaw Man is awesome. I love like the demons and stuff. The animation is top notch. That's without saying. But my number 1, and I think Sage probably know what I'm about to say. Stone Ocean. This second part, if y'all know me, most people on this panel, they know that JoJo is my favorite anime of all time. Like at one point, it might have been up for grabs from One Piece, maybe, but JoJo Bizarre Adventure. I was having this conversation with Sage, I think, earlier this week. JoJo encapsulate to me why I love anime. It's like one of the most unique things out there. There's almost nothing that is like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like even in the title, it's bizarre. You got all these crazy things happening. You got this family every time. It's a new family member of the Joestars. Now we got Jolene, the daughter of his name Jotaro. So it's like it's just passing the torch down, and it's just I love the stands, all these different abilities. It just really encapsulates to me what I love about anime. So I got to give it a Stone Ocean. I watched the second part; it was freaking fire. The last few episodes was like the end boss of a Final Fantasy game, so I'm all for it. So those are my top 5, man.
Okay, so I do want to give some credit to Clorox for a second. I know you called it a cookie cutter anime, and I have like TikTok. Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. TikTok has ruined the big 3 for me. Like, I was never a big One Piece fan in the first place, mostly because their fan base is just a little too out of control. And the art style is kind of hard to adapt to at first. But like the other two, I was at one point big fans of, and just like TikTok has ruined it. Like over the years, like I was just showing the guys today. I was just showing Devin and Keem today a tweet a TikTok where some dude in the comments was like, if it wasn't for Naruto, anime wouldn't even be popular in the West. And I was like, huh?
Bro, what you mean?
Yeah. What the fuck you mean?
Yeah.
That's
like,
a whole podcast in and of itself right there.
I was like,
did that already.
I was like, excuse
What?
me. You know how many anime came out before Naruto that was huge? You know how many shows, like we saw dozens of TV. Like if you was just a dub, I only watch cable. I only watch, what was on cable. If you was that type of anime fan, you watch dozens of anime before you ever watch Naruto. So like the idea that like, oh man, if not for Naruto, the anime wouldn't be banned. You a damn lie. Like Naruto didn't come out till 06. I started watching anime in like 98. So like I wasn't just watching Dragon Ball Z for 8 years. I did watch Dragon Ball Z for 8 years, but that wasn't the only thing I watched for 8 years. So like,
there you go.
Get the fuck out of here.
I mean,
but
that's a stretch, man. That's a stretch of a statement.
It wasn't a stretch. It was a damn lie. Is what it was. But what I'm saying is like, even though it's a cookie cutter, quote unquote, anime, like Bleach was still like the Bleach 1,000 Year Blood War is the best adaptation version of an adaptation I can imagine. Like the pacing is on point, the animation is on point. Even like something, and this, I don't know how many people have noticed this, but even to me, something as simple as the color palette that they use is it really makes just everything about the characters in the world pop in a way that I'm like, oh yeah, this one of them shows. So like I've been on it. It reminds me, and this is, a lot of people may not feel me on this one, but it reminds me of how I felt the first time I watched Dragon Ball Kai, where like the way they cut out so much of the filler, even though the animation was the same, the way they cut out so much of the filler, it felt like I was watching the show with new eyes. Like when they sped the pacing up so much faster, and I'm like, oh, this is how this fight was supposed to play out the whole time. And it changed my perception of certain fights when I was watching Kai. And this is the same kind of thing where the increase in pacing has made me look at Bleach with brand new eyes. And it's a solid, it's not in my top 5, but if it's like honorable mention, a very good, excellent show. So like, even though it's, a basic show or whatever, like it's still fire, and it deserves, if it's on your top 5, it deserves to be there. Rakeem, what you got for your top 5, man?
All right, since we're going this traditional pack, I guess I'll start from 5 and move on up as well. Number 5, anybody who knows me knows I've talked about this anime at length. Dragon Quest: The Adventures of Dai. It completed the show this year, 100 episodes, and I gotta say, from beginning to end, it was very enjoyable. It feels like an ode to older anime. It's a remake of an older anime from the 80s anyway. And just watching it, it feels like home. It feels like being a kid again. And just watching a Saturday morning cartoon, or just watching it, because I would actually watch it on Saturday morning because it's when it dropped. So I would wake up like a kid again, get my cereal, and watch Adventures of Dai every Saturday morning. And I had a friend of mine named Tim Bush, who's also a fan of the podcast, who would text me every morning and tell me, oh man, you just wait till you see the episode today. We do that every weekend. It became like a tradition of ours for several months. And I got to say, I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the storytelling. I enjoyed the twists and turns. Conclusion was surprising, actually. And I at anybody who my roommates and I've talked to, I've implored them to give it a shot. I think if you're a fan of like very traditional shonen anime, this is for you. Number 5, Dragon Quest: Adventures of Dai. Ooh, number 4. Now this way it goes. They were fighting between 4 and 1. They were fighting. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Number 4,
Damn.
I actually went with Gundam: The Witch from Mercury. The return of Gundam is a return of the juggernaut of mecha anime, and also return to something I loved as a child as well. Because I love mecha, giant robots, action, all that crap, and it just, some don't feel right if there ain't no Gundam around. I feel like something's missing in the world if there's no Gundam around. So this return to the show, I gotta say, I've enjoyed it up to this far. I'm not all the way caught up, but I enjoyed the change in direction, but not quite change in direction. Like, it seems like it's doing a more upbeat thing, but I've talked to Sage about this at length before as well. It still keeps a lot of the themes and the dark undertones of Gundam well in sight in the show as well. I enjoy it. I really like the characters, which is always a plus. If I really like the characters, I pretty much like the show. I like the protagonist. I like the dual system they have in the school. The weird love triangle marriage thing they got going on. It's a little weird, but you know what? It's cute. So I like the cuteness of it. So yeah, number 4, Gundam, Witch from Mercury. Enjoying that. We'll continue to watch that. Number 3, this is a show that I have to thank Sage Ashford for putting me on.
I know
The Legend
is.
of the Galactic Heroes.
Yeah.
My God. I've never sat down and watched a show and just didn't want to leave. Galactic Heroes, for people who don't know me, I love space opera, politics in the framework of like sci-fi or like ships or mechs and things like that appeals to me directly. And this is just that, just to the upteenth degree. Great writing, great characters, political intrigue. The main character is this character who is a tactical genius, but who does not want to participate in war at all. So he has these contrasting thoughts in his head and things. He wants to leave the war behind, but the war keeps calling to him. He can't get out of it, and it's very intriguing to watch. It frames politics in a way where you can see the flaws in different ideologies and how sometimes we can kind of like trip over our own feet when trying to solve our own problems. And there's so many parallels to the real world, indirectly and directly, and it's a masterpiece of writing to me. It's one of my favorite new shows coming out, so it had to be my top 3. So number 2 for me, going up in the list, Spy Family. I figured it's going to be very high on the list for a lot of people. Number 2, Spy Family. Oh man, just not when I heard about this show, there was so much hype behind it. I just kept seeing it everywhere online. I heard about it so much, and I was like, okay, let's see what this is about. And from the opening theme, it knocked it out the park. The characters are very relatable. It takes a tone of like the spy thriller, but frames in the framework of a relationship of a family developing. There isn't quite a real family, and it's trying to fake like a real family, but sort of becomes one anyway as a result of what's going on in the show. And the lengths to which they try to please each other and make each other happy and come together, it's very endearing. I think anybody who watches this podcast, if you have not watched Spy Family, please give it a shot. It is awesome. It is one of the best animes of the year. If there's an anime of the year running, it should be in the top 2, 3 of all of them, all the lists. If ain't any of those, they're lying to you. So watch it. So yeah. But as high praise as that is, there's one more show that I watched this year that I absolutely love. So my number 1 anime for this year will be Ranking of Kings.
There we go.
Ranking of
Yes,
Kings.
Okay.
My God. What's
Did
this
that finish
show?
this year?
Yeah, that finished this year because the first
It
half of
finished
it premiered in the fall, and then the rest of it was in the winter. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ranking of Kings. When I tell you a wolf in sheep's clothing, as in you think it's just going to be something soft and warm. When you get into it, it's Game of Thrones. It is one of the best. I don't even put this together. A protagonist who cannot speak a word, but conveys so much emotion it doesn't matter. You can see everything on his face. You totally understand where he's coming from, and you immediately root for him. A cast of characters that are so well fleshed out. It's utterly surprising how every single character, side character, mini character, has a backstory, has a purpose, feels a part of the universe. No one is wasted. The villains all have motivations that are tied to things that are, to some degree, reasonable, understanding. They're not just evil for the sake of evil. And how it comes together from beginning to end, masterful. It was the biggest surprise for me this year because I didn't know I would love this show as much as I did. And completing it was so special. I believe I watched it twice. I watched it with one of my roommates as well. And I got to say, I'm probably going to watch it again. It's great. If you have the praise I just gave Spy Family is double for Ranking of Kings. It is all the hype, everything it lived up to. And I believe there should be another season, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it's just going to be one and done.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think, it pretty much,
It's confirmed.
So Ranking of Kings, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it has a crown for a reason.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Watch it.
Yo.
That was a bar.
You know what?
Rakeem.
That's the one. That's the one.
Hey,
That's the one.
Yo,
Raheem said, "I am him." I came to
Both
deliver
him Duncan.
the top 5
Both
beat all
is
top
Beat him
5.
in my Himbalands.
Well, that's all. That's my top 5. Everybody.
Oh
No,
man,
I gotta watch it. I really gotta watch it now. I've been putting
capped
it
it
off.
off. You capped it
I
off.
ain't-
basically.
he did. I ain't gonna lie, King. That's one that I've seen. I haven't watched. I've seen some of it. And what I've seen is really intriguing me. And you
We
saying
can watch
this,
it after the
I
podcast.
definitely gotta watch it.
I'm not playing. We can
What I
watch it
saw, I
after the
like
podcast.
definitely.
Well, Terrence, it's up to you. We've got a rough top 5. I mean, a rough top 7 already. It's just gonna depend on what you put on yours, and I kind of know where everything else is going with mine. So, what you got for us, man? What's your top 5 looking like?
So, and I mean, if I have to drop one, I will. But technically, for me, 5 is a tie because it's like these anime, they're both too good to like leave one or the other. But one is gonna be Bocchi the Rock, which for me has been the dark horse of the fall season. Like in a season that's just been so stacked with stuff. There's so many shows in fall that
Man,
I've forgotten.
Yeah.
Like something like To Your Eternity season 2 and Golden Kamui. I forgot those shows came out this season. That's just how stacked fall 2022 has been. And for me, Bocchi the Rock has been just one of the standouts of it, just because for one, it reminds me a lot of K-On! And it's really cool to have a female protagonist that is dealing with like social anxiety. So, having that layer to it as well. It's just a really funny show. I just really enjoy all the characters, and it's just a nice slice of life musical anime. The other one, I'm glad Will mentioned it earlier, is Uncle from Another World, or Uncle Oji-san, whatever. Isekai Oji-san, Oji-san, yeah,
Isekai
whatever the
Oji-san.
Japanese title is. Uncle from Another World. Yeah, Uncle from Another World for me has to be comedy of the year. My goodness, man. It from the first episode I saw, I knew that I was in for a treat. Not only does the anime look great, like I really enjoy the art style, but the comedy is just top notch. The uncle, he's Sega's #1 fan, and it's just hilarious to see all the references to Sega they fit into the anime. The only downside is the way Netflix has kind of been releasing it, and also the anime's had production issues. It technically came out in the summer, but they kind of had to cut it off and start back up in the fall, and it started off in like an odd point in the fall too, like in November. So
Yep.
it's been weird, and I think it's still gonna keep going into the winter. But yeah, if you have the chance, watch Uncle from Another World. It is really funny. Number 4, I have to agree with Raheem. Ranking of Kings. Ranking of Kings is just, man, it's just, you don't get it's such a unique anime. One, like the art style is totally unlike any other anime that's out right now. The fact that we get a protagonist, that's the way that he is. Like Boji isn't like your typical shonen protagonist at all. I mean, he has his handicaps that he's dealing with, and he doesn't let that take away his joy or fuel him with like rage or anger because of it. Like he rises up despite his handicaps. And like you said, Raheem, like the world, the characters, there's so much that's fleshed out with it that it's a highly enjoyable anime, and I definitely recommend anyone that's interested check it out, because it was definitely one of the standouts of this year. Number 3, I think a lot of people forget that this was it started in the fall, but then it spilled over into the
I wonder if
winter.
we on the same page on this.
Demon Slayer. Like
Yeah, there we
Demon
go.
Slayer,
That's a good
I think
point.
a lot of people forget because that was the
True.
beginning of this year. That anime was huge back in January and February. Like
Yeah.
those last couple episodes, like those fights, the animation, yo, that was god tier. Like it was like
Yup.
it was
It was.
absolutely amazing. And they just announced that, of course, we're getting another season. Obviously, I mean, that anime is doing too well to
yeah.
not get another
Well,
season. But they're also getting like,
that was announced beforehand.
yeah. But I'm saying,
Swordsman Village.
yeah. Well, I was going to get to the fact that they announced the movie, which I guess is like a recap, but there's also some of it that's going to be
Yeah.
new. It's kind of weird the way that
It's
they're
probably-
doing it.
It's probably gonna be the same way they kind of did Mugen Train.
Well, Mugen Train was
It was the other way
it was
around.
an arc.
Yeah,
Like,
it
it
was
was a
the
full
movie.
on arc.
It was-
Well, this one's
yeah,
different.
no.
This one isn't supposed to be like its own arc. It's like a recap of kind of like what we just went through, but I think there's also going to be a
okay.
little bit of new stuff sprinkled in. That news
okay.
just came out, I think, like this week. So, there's probably more details to come, and
Okay.
I could be wrong on some things, but I do know that we have another movie on the way. But yeah, Demon Slayer was huge this year, and I mean, I don't feel like I really need to go into that much detail for it. That anime was absolutely amazing.
Demon Slayer.
Number 2 for me is going to be Spy Family. Spy Family is a type of anime that we talked about this at length. I know when we were going over the spring anime, we talked about how every once in a while there's an anime that comes along that feels like a good anime that you could just introduce to anybody. Like it's a good gateway anime. Yeah, that's the term I was looking for. Where you don't have to worry about there being any like anime isms or like tropes that will turn off like your more casual fan or somebody who's completely new to anime. I feel like I could even show Spy Family to my parents, and I mean, they wouldn't probably like it in the way that I like it, but they'd be like, yeah, I mean, this is fine. It's just
They
one
would
of those.
look at you weird because you showed it to them. I can tell you.
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, they won't do that. Like,
But at least it's a show where it's wholesome and the characters are just really enjoyable. I mean, Anya's a delight. I mean, she brings so much personality to the show, and the fact that she feels like a real kid. A lot of times in anime, like 5-year-olds or like 4-year-olds, they don't feel really like their age. Like Anya is age appropriate. Yor is hilarious just because she's so good at assassinations, but not good at anything
bad
else,
at
and
everything else.
so that makes her hilarious. And of course, Lloyd. I mean, it's always fun to see the adventures that he goes on. But overall, just Spy Family is just a total delight, and it's just something that I feel like I could recommend to any kind of anime fan, and I feel like maybe they could get something out of it. But for me, number 1 is actually one that no one's mentioned yet. It's gonna go to Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Cyberpunk, that anime, and I'll actually go into more detail, I guess, later on when we talk about like our anime of the year. But I'll just say that Cyberpunk left a really strong impression on me. It's an anime that I actually think about from time to time, just like the way that the events unfolded. And every once in a while, I'll say this, that every like TV show, anime, movie, it feels like everybody's chasing like multiple seasons, like this big franchise and everything. And then sometimes it just feels good to get a show where they do one season, that's it. Like you got your story, it's a well-told story, the characters are they have their depth to them, and it's gone. And that's honestly the reason why I like Cyberpunk Edge Runner so much, is that it tells a great story, and that's it. There's nothing more to it. I don't have to worry about a season 2. They said there is no season 2. It's done. It did what it needed to, and it's out.
I don't know how you do a season 2 anyway.
Yeah, you don't. But yeah, I'll go into more detail later. But for me, yeah, that's number 1 is Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
That's
That's a
solid.
good one.
And with that, I think you gave us our 10th anime. It's not ranked 10, but I mean, like,
Yeah.
you basically gave us the 10th anime on the list.
Yeah.
All around, just solid list. Probably I was wondering because we was looking not like casuals, but like some elitists for a little bit for like. It was like we left out one of the most popular anime in the world. Like
What?
nobody said Demon Slayer.
Oh,
I was
Demon
like,
Slayer.
holy shit.
The only reason I didn't break it up because I didn't finish it. I haven't finished the current season.
The reason I
Yeah,
didn't
I
bring it
haven't
up
either.
because I was just like, we still waiting on the next part to kind of come up, so I didn't really want to bring it up. So I'm just like,
I hadn't finished it, but I mean, like what I
So-
saw of it was fire, and I did
But it
finish the
was
manga,
fire.
so
Yeah.
So
Oh, okay.
also yeah, it was
Fair enough.
literally fire. So I guess I don't know why I thought I was gonna work it from the top down, but if the backwards way, it makes more sense. Build suspense. So number 5 for me is Demon Slayer season 2. Just such a beautiful anime. UFO Table has just done such an absurdly good job with the animation. Like I just have every time I think, this is probably the best it's gonna get, and then somehow they manage to top themselves. It's just absurd. The story Mugen Train really solid. And had your boy at the edge of tears. Watching my boy go down the Flame Hashira. He was so cool.
Oh yeah.
For them to take him out like that, I'm like, man, no. And I mean, like, I definitely felt Tanjiro, when he was screaming at Akaza, like, bro, we always gotta fight y'all at night when it benefits you, man. Square up in the day, which they can't do. But I mean, like, he had a point. He was like, we always fight you when you got all the advantages, all the benefits. Like, y'all some hoes when you really think about it. Yeah. So like, I respected that. I really rock with that arc, and I rock with the other arc. They introduced what is it?
Entertainment District.
But like,
with Tengen and his wives.
Tengen.
Which Hashira is he? Was what I was wondering.
He's a Sound Hashira.
Sound Hashira. Okay, just double checking.
Mr. Flashy.
Super fucking flashy. He was cool the whole way.
He was that.
Yeah, he was that guy. So like, I definitely had to give that one. The 5. The 4 belongs. I mean, I really should have probably put this a little higher, but I just, you know what? Fuck it, I'll put it a little higher. So we'll just say 4 is Lycoris Recoil. Man, nice. I just really, I told y'all when I watched that, I rocked with it. I even had to put off finishing it, and I mean, I did get around to finishing it. I might give it a rewatch at some point.
That's actually the one that I finished today. That's the one I wanted to watch because I knew like that was anime of the year material. It's like, let me go ahead and watch this just so I can see where I put it. So yeah,
it's such a great show for me. And I mean, like, it's not like it's doing a ton new, but just the way Chisato as a character is written is like so unique amongst anime characters, where she's just aware of what's going on around her, but she's just not letting it bring her down for the most part. And you just don't get that kind of character in anime that often. Like, like so many characters, they wind up being kind of ditzy, but in like like even if they're talented, they still kind of ditzy. And she was just like, nah, I know what the fuck going on. Like Takina, like the way that those two characters play off each other is just great. And so like, I really rock with Lycoris Recoil. I had that at the 3 spot. At the 2 spot, I moved it down to the 4 spot, because I feel like this should be a little higher. Spy Family. It's that show, bro. Like, I don't know, like that's so outside of my lane. Like when we talk about anime, like usually I'm about some action or like some sci-fi, some mecha, something something that you can't get in real life, and you technically can't get this in real life. Ain't no assassins and ain't no. Well, there are assassins, but not like your. And there certainly ain't no 4-year-olds out here reading minds and shit that I know of. But it's just such a good, like, it's so wholesome. I feel good watching it. Even like Rakeem said, from the opening, like the opening of the season 2 is just magical to me. Like the way that they manipulate the color, well, not manipulate, but the way that they use colors to like feel like the fall, like. And the song itself, perfect. I can't skip that opening. Like every time I watch it, I don't skip it. And I just love everything about that universe. It's just such a well-written, well-done comedy series. And I'm so happy that it's found the success that it has. It absolutely deserves it. The number 2 spot, Gundam Witch from Mercury. Man, I mean, like, I just did not. I knew that I was hoping that the next Gundam would be fire. I just did not expect it to be this good. And for it to depart from what Gundam has been for so long, Gundam being like, the same, all right, the Earth and the colonies are at war. It's been war for years and yada, like, not, and in the colonies, they want their freedom from Earth, and they just completely turn that on its head. The war is kind of like, there is no war at the moment. It's just conflict in the background, and it's like more commentary on like capitalism and what happens when you let corporations just get too much power and get out of control, and how they can just basically get a chance to do whatever the fuck they want. And like the 2 main characters, Soleta and Miorine, like just such great characters. Even, and me and Keem was talking about this. What's the guy with the pink hair, Ghoul? Man, they just had that, man. Like, the Gundam fans, all hardcore Gundam fans know, like, when you have a character like that from episode 1, it was like, all right, he only had two paths he could go down. He could go down the path, and then I'm specifically speaking to Gundam fans on this one. He could go down the path of Jared Mesa from Gundam Zeta, where he's just a fucking scrub that shows up week after week, getting his ass kicked, and somehow come back with a new mech every episode for whatever reason, just staying
He was
alive.
going that way for a little bit.
No, he wasn't. No, he was
had a
not
new mech
going
every
that way.
episode, and
He did have a new mech every episode, but it just very quickly, because it was either Jared Messer from Zeta or it was Patrick Corlisor from Gundam 00, and he turned out to be Patrick. And what a great copy of Patrick he is! Like by episode 6, you just sitting there looking at the dude like, I'm actually rooting for you.
I'm rooting for this man. This is
He
ridiculous.
started out such an asshole, and by episode 6, I was like, I want good for this man. Like he deserves some good in this world, because it's gone bad for it. Like as bad as it could reasonably go without you dying. That's how bad it got for him. Like he done lost it all. He ain't the guy no more. He went from the chosen one to like I don't want to spoil.
Oh, him. Oh, okay. When you said Patrick, I was like, who is Patrick? And then I looked at okay. I remember.
The comedy character, you know.
Yeah.
He show up.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
He basically Ghoul turned into Patrick, and it's such a great. I'm like, all right, okay, and like even like people were so, oh man, you know, I didn't come here for this Gundam. I want the school stuff and all this slice of life nonsense. I want some war and some hard shit. And episode 6 hit you with the gut punch. Said, all right, you want some hard shit? I got something for your ass. And so like that solidified that it's like, okay, this is definitely one of the animes of the year in my mind. So, and number 1. I had kind of forgotten about it, even though I loved it so much. But then Rakeem brought it up, and I said, God damn it, that is the greatest anime of this year. Even though it's not gonna get half the attention it deserves. Fucking Legend of the Galactic Heroes. My God, what a fucking glorious anime!
It's
like
really good
season, and it definitely counts because Rakeem asked, like, he was like, "This is it just anime from 2022 or anime that had a season in 2022?" And I was like, hell, if it had a season in 2022, it's a 2022 anime. But like seasons 3 and 4, I believe, were both inside of 2022. And man, like it's just been fire. Like it's just been one of the most enjoyable series. Like the writing is just on another level. And I mean, like it is a remake from like the 80s and shit, but like you see why anime got as big as it did in the 80s, you know. Damn that, if not for Naruto, like, nah, damn that. Like we had genius shows way back in the day, and like if not for shows like this, you wouldn't get the Narutos, you wouldn't get, and I'm not saying directly because it's not a shonen, but I'm just saying like when you have shows at that level, it's only a matter of time. Like people gonna become fans. It's got to grow bigger because the type of writing that you saw in this show and the characters. Like everything about it, the commentary, like Rakeem talked about it already, so I don't want to go too deep into detail, into the deep weeds on this, but like everything about that show works. Production IG does a fantastic job with the animation. They do a believable job. Like, yeah, I know they prettified all the characters, but they was already pretty in the 80s version, so I don't know what people complain about with that. But other than that, it's just a solid adaptation, more faithful to the original novels. So I mean, I just. The second Rakeem said it, I knew it had to win number 1 because I was like, fuck, I just don't know of another anime that I love quite that much. So yeah, that's my number 1. And in case y'all are wondering, and I may have to retabulate this just to be sure, but yeah, because Rakeem gave that, so that would make it 7. Yeah. In case y'all were wondering, what we have for the top 10. At the bottom, coming in at the 10 spot, technically tying, actually, 10 and 9 kind of tie. Demon Slayer Season 2 with 2 points. Isekai Oji-san also with 2 points. 3-way tie, my bad. Blue Lock with 2 points. Because I believe both Will and Devin put Blue Lock on their list at like 1 at 4 and 5. So that gives them, it gets it 2 points. Gundam Witch from Mercury is at 7, I think. Let me make sure. 3 and 1, yeah. Gundam Witch from Mercury is at 7 with 4 points. At 6, my bad. At 6 with 5 points is JoJo Stone Ocean. Devin put it so high that it just automatically had to chart on the list.
That
Hey,
man
man,
stands for
Devin put
JoJo, and I
JoJo on his
appreciate
back
you,
and said,
bro.
"Look, I'm gonna carry you
Hey.
as far as I can."
Hey, bro.
I appreciate you, Devin.
I actually let's take that a step further because actually there's a tie. It's a two-way tie. 5 or 6, whatever, however you want to look at it. Cyberpunk Edge Runners also with 5 points because Terrence was like, "No, we gonna put some respect on Cyberpunk today, motherfuckers." And so we had to. It's up there at 5. At 3. No, excuse me, at 4. I have it. Fix this shit. 4, 3, 2. There we go. At 4 with 6 points is Ranking of Kings. Between Rakeem putting it at 5 and Terrence putting it at 4, gave it 6 points. So there you go.
Rakeem put it at
I
1.
put it at 1.
Yeah,
that
my
was his
bad.
top.
The points is still accurate.
Okay.
Rakeem put it at 1. That gave it 5 points. And then Terrence put it at 4. That gave it another point. So 6 points. Which actually ties with Chainsaw Man.
Oh wow.
Is that right? That may not be right.
Was Chainsaw Man Devin's number 1?
No,
No,
that was
it was-
my.
I think it was
It's
every.
Stone Ocean.
Yeah, it was Will. It was
It was
your number
Will's
2.
number 2 and Devin's number 2.
Yeah.
So yes,
Okay.
Chainsaw Man 6 points. There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
And then Legend of the Galactic Heroes, Rakeem put it at 3, gave it 2 points, and I put it at 1, which gave it 5 points. So actually, it is I was right. It's at 7. So Legend of the Galactic Heroes coming in at 2, solid actually. I did not expect to do that well, and unsurprisingly, because like when we asked about what the best anime of spring 2022 was, we all I think pretty unanimously, excuse me, I can't enter words today, said Spy Family for 11 points. Will gave it a number 1, so that gave it 5 points. Rakeem gave it number 2, that gave it another 3 points, put it at 8. And then Terrence gave it put it at number 2, that gave it another 3 points. And then I put it at number 4, which gave it another point. So Spy Family is our anime of the year, unless I'm going to give y'all a chance of the anime that you put on the list. If you would like to push your anime up a list, if you would like to push one anime up the list by changing your ranking, would you like to do so?
Can you quickly go over where everything is real quick?
Mhm.
I tried to write down as much of it as I could, but just to recap.
So Demon Slayer is at the bottom. Demon Slayer, Isekai, Oji-san, and Blue Lock are in a 3-way tie with 2 points apiece.
Okay. Blue Rock. Okay. That's at number 10. Okay.
Yeah, they're all technically at number 10.
Okay. Number 9.
Well, Isekai Oji-san is number 9 technically because it also
okay.
has 2 points.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And Blue Lock also has 2 points, so that's number 8, which 3-way tie. Gundam Witch from Mercury has 4 points. Stone Ocean has 5 points. Stone Ocean, I think, is actually pretty unmovable by the rules that I just set up because it's got to also be on the list and it's got to be on your list. So I think Stone Ocean is unmovable. Cyberpunk Edge Runners also at 5 points. Also, I think unmovable. Ranking of Kings comes after that with 6 points. That one I think is movable a little bit. Chainsaw Man is actually very movable. Also at 6 points. Legend of the Galactic Heroes at 7 points. And Spy Family at 11 points. So, Devin, you want to cause chaos, man? You got one you want to move up?
Can I move Stone Ocean to 0 tier for like 7 points?
0.
Like,
Hell no.
Come on, man. I think I'm
Man,
good.
it's so broken.
I almost wanted to. That would have brought it down. I almost wanted to bring Chainsaw Man down to my number 3, but I think I'm gonna keep it number 2 because, yeah, I think that's fair for me because I don't want to put that over Bleach on my list because it was something new. It's up my alley. It's interesting. Although Bleach is already been around, but I just like the fact that they brought it out and redid it and then screw it up. So I think I'm gonna keep what I got. If I can't move Stone Ocean up, man, I'm good.
If you can move it up with a 0, that would be impressive. But no, this ain't. It's just like the 0th Espada, where he was 0 for like 2 seconds
Yeah, see,
until
it was
until
one and
Kenpachi
zero.
and what's my man's name? Fuck, Rukia's brother.
Oh, Byakuya.
Come on,
Yeah.
Byakuya.
Kenpachi and Byakuya both just like slammed that dude. Was like 0. No, you still 10. Shut up. Get out of here. Killed him and you never saw him again. Just like that. Rakeem, you want to cause some chaos? You want to move something up?
It's a tough one. I ain't gonna lie, it's a tough one.
Really? I mean, like you got 4 on the top 10. Like you put 4 on it, so like you got a lot of power here.
Yeah, but I kind of like where they are. So I'm like, the only 2 spots, maybe will be between Galactic Heroes and Spy Family, only because I kind of like both of those almost equally, but for very different reasons. So it's kind of the change in the quality. I would say though, let's see. No, I'm gonna keep mine where it is. I think I'm gonna keep mine where it is. Yeah.
I don't think Spy Family is very movable, actually.
No,
I mean, I guess
all of us, 4 of us put it on the list. I don't think. Yeah, I think it's gonna stay at the top. I don't.
And then high on the list too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Spy Family is number 1, and so like even if you swapped your 2 and your 3, I think that just gives Legend of the Galactic Heroes like what 1 more point. Yeah, and so it'd be at 8 points, and Spy Family would be at 10 points. It'd still be number 1. So.
Yeah, that would be the only 2 I would move. Everything else is about the same.
All right, Terrence, you want to cause any chaos, bro?
I think the only thing I would do is, move Demon Slayer up to number 2 and bump Spy Family down to number 3. I think that's the only thing I would change.
So you swap Demon Slayer and Spy Family.
Yeah.
I
think Demon Slayer needs a little bit more respect, just because that was, I mean, let's be real. People who weren't even like big anime fans were watching Demon Slayer earlier this year. Like that was the anime that got everybody watching.
Right.
So
you're right.
I think it deserves a little bit more respect.
Okay, so that would move Demon Slayer up to 8.
Okay, that's respectable.
Yeah.
And it makes it a 2-way tie between Isekai Oji-san and Blue Lock, which I prefer. I don't like a lot of like 3-way ties. Like what the fuck is that? So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, I think that's all I would do is just change where Demon Slayer is.
Okay. Will, what's up, man? You want to cause a little chaos?
Not much I can really think of moving, honestly, looking at it and thinking about it. So we sticking with where we at.
Okay. Now I do want to ask y'all, as we was talking about all these different shows, what off somebody else's list did you hear somebody talk about and you go, I gotta go check that out? I'm gonna go first just to give y'all a little time to think about it. For me, just hearing Will bring up Call of the Night, like I felt like I wanted to watch Call of the Night anyway. Actually, I got 2. I felt like I wanted to watch Call of the Night anyway, just because like I said, every time I saw a clip of it, I was like, oh man, this looks cute, and I just like the way that the world looks and the colors and shit. I was like, yeah, I can see myself fucking with this. And the other one that I would say for sure, Devin brought up Spriggan, and I had meant to watch Spriggan anyway. I saw it on Anime Ski when it was first announced, I think last year, and I was like, oh, this looks kind of cool. And I looked it up and saw that it had like a history. It came out, I think the manga came out in like the 80s or whatever, and they did an anime, like a little OVA, like a short OVA in like the 90s. And I was like, oh, well, if this is going to be like a more complete adaptation, I want to check that out. And so how long is it, Devin?
I think it's like 6 episodes, I think. I think they're like 40 minutes.
Okay,
I know their first one's 40 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can do 6 episodes. I was kind of hoping it'd be longer, really. But 6 episodes is cool. I can definitely do that. Devin, did anything off anybody else's list kind of pop out at you?
What's the one with the Isekai, the uncle? I've been
Uncle
seeing that
from
one.
Another
OG
World.
Son.
Yeah.
I've looked at that one so much, and since y'all been saying it's good, I'm gonna go ahead and check that one out because I looked at it. The title itself. Like I said before, titles draw me in. Like I used to back anime crazy, and I just see, oh, that's a cool title. Let me check it out. I looked at the title like this looks fire. I never got around to watching it, but since y'all mentioned that, I want to watch it. And
I'll say this, that it's like the reverse isekai, because the first episode he's come back from the other world, so the whole anime is just him telling about his adventures from when he was in the other world, and it's just hilarious. Just shenanigans ensue. So
it is crazy.
And I'm normally one, like Say said, I'm normally one for like action type stuff. I love dark fantasy animes. I actually wanted to counter put Bastard on my list, but I hadn't watched enough of that. I watched a
We
little
can
bit of
watch
it.
that.
What I did
We
see
can watch that tonight.
was good.
On my list.
I was just thinking about Bastard and how.
don't you have to go to bed, Raheem?
No, I don't. I ain't work tomorrow.
Oh, I thought you said you had to go to bed earlier.
No.
Definitely that one, and I think I want to try out Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I like that. I am somewhat a fan of space operas too, and I mean, just the name alone just sounds legendary. Legend of the Galactic Heroes, like, yeah, no, that's like, come on, man, that's an epic title. So I think those two are definitely ones I like to try out. And of course, I know Rakeem said Ranking the Kings. I've seen a little bit of it, but I want to finish that because what I saw was like, I gotta watch this. It looks very unique. Again, like the art style, I was like, at first I was like, wait a minute, it's this. I'm like, this got to be anime, but this art style is so unique. Like I've never seen anything look like this before. So I definitely got to finish that one.
All right, that's a solid list of like shows you need to check out. I'm glad we got one more added to like the Legend of Galactic Heroes train. Hopefully, you become a fan like the rest of us. In fact, I think that will make 4 of us watching that in this house.
Yeah, because Tyler watched it too.
Yeah, there we go. Terrence, what's up, man? What you got?
Remind me of your top 5 again, Devin. It was a Springen.
Stone Ocean number
Stone
1,
Ocean.
Chainsaw Man number
Chainsaw
2,
Man.
Bleach number 3, Blue Lock number 4.
Blue Lock number 4.
Springen.
Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. For the most part, a lot of the anime that has been brought up, I have at least checked out at least like 1 or 2 episodes, because I've checked out 2 episodes of Blue Lock, and I do want to get back into it just because it seems to be like that sport anime right now that just everybody's really digging, especially with the World Cup going on. I mean, it was hilarious when Japan was in the World Cup. Just every time they won, people were saying like, "Oh, the Blue Lock, it might be real." Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but yeah. But that I will have to. I need to get back into Blue Lock because what I've seen of it, I do really like. What's one I was gonna say? Oh yeah, I do need to get back into Call of the Night. So I'm actually glad that you put that on your list, Will, because I did technically have that. I was kind of thinking, I kind of listed like my top 10 anime in terms of anime that I was like really interested in this year, or had at least watched an episode of and want to get more into, and Call of the Night was one of them. So that's probably the one out of all of them that I think I will get into. But I will say that, I mean, the way Sage and Rakeem, the way you all hype up Legend of the Galactic Heroes, I mean, I might have to check out a few episodes of that too. But how long is that right now? I mean, I know it's still going, but or is it done?
At this point, no, it's a long ways from done.
Oh, okay.
At this point, it's actually pretty long. It's split up into seasons of like 12 episodes, and it's on season 4, so it should be 40.
40. Oh, it's actually okay. It's not too far in. I thought you were gonna say something like, it's like 100 episodes in.
Well, see, the thing is, the OG version, which was the one that came out in the 80s, it ran from 88 to 98. That was 110 episodes. Yeah. And so like you probably looking at around about that length when it all wraps up. But I mean, it is still going, and they kind of release it in Japan. They release it as films first. And then they'll release those films. They break them down into like, I think 30-minute episodes or whatever. And then they put them out, and then that's how you get your actual anime season. So
okay. And I would have said Licorice or Licorice, however you would like to pronounce it. I would have put that on the list, but I did finish that one. I did. What'd you say?
I was going to say you finished it, so
I finished that one today, so that no longer counts. Which I do agree with you. Like that was a good anime. I mean, it was really well done, especially like those last 4 episodes. The tension was just right. I think Majima could get a nomination for best villain of the year. I think he could.
Had him in there looking like the Joker in that bitch. For a little bit.
I think he could. But yeah, I think that's it. I think Call of the Night is the main one that I do want to go back and watch. So I'll go with that.
Please do.
Will, did you hear anything off the list that you off our list that you was like, okay, I gotta go check that out?
Okay, so Ranking of Kings is one. I've always known about the show because another one of my streamer friends, Big Willieism, every time that show, during the time it was running, I see him on Twitter, he is sprouting nothing but straight up positivity about that show. And I'm just like, I gotta sit down and watch this one day. Never did, but King might have just put me on, and I'm just like, I might have to. My Crunchyroll sub is still running, so I'm definitely gonna make it my business to watch it.
You will not be disappointed. That's a great show.
Okay, yeah, that's one. And you two Mickey figures above me in this Legend of Galactic Heroes business. I might have to go and sit down with it. I might have to, because y'all are really trying to sell this show to me, and I'm just like, okay, if y'all are really telling me something good about this, I gotta see it. If it's really sitting this well, I got to.
It is definitely a personal treat. I always wanted to get into it, the OG version, but like it's such a daunting thing. Like when you see 110 episodes, you're like, oh shit, that's a lot. But then when they said, hey, we remaking it, I was like, oh, okay, a remake, and start from ground zero. So I got to start from episode 1, and that just made it so much easier to just jump in and get to know the characters over time, and it just hits. And the crazy thing about it, and Rakeem has brought this up on a prior episode, is just how timeless some of the scenes and some of the dialogue is.
Insane.
There was a moment in I think season 2 maybe that Rakeem saw it, and I was upstairs doing something. I think I was like playing a video game or something. And Rakeem was like, "Yo, Sage, what the fuck is this? When did they write this?" Like, because it felt like it was something that was written today, but it was actually from like the 80s. And it just like reminded, like even the creator was like, I just figured the same problems we got now will be the same problems we have 1,000 years from now. And I was like, oof, fuck. This, because I mean, like, and judging by how accurate it is 40 fucking years later, he may not be wrong.
Yeah.
Rakeem, what you got, man? Like, what shows that you hear about and you like, I need to check that out.
So the ones I've heard a couple times. So Licorice Recoil, y'all brought it up so many times, and it's such such reverence that you seem like you guys really enjoyed. I want to check that anime out. On the side of Devin, once upon a time, I was also a JoJo fan. I'm watching the first 2 parts, and I couldn't put it down. The ending theme of the first 2 parts was my ringtone. I love the show so much. And halfway through part 3, I just kind of fell off, and then I kind of stopped watching anime for a little bit anyway around that time. Anyway, so it is what it is. But I'm trying to get back into it. I started watching back on part 3 again. I still got ways to go, but at some point I'm gonna get to Stone Ocean. It might not be. It's not gonna be this year.
Part 3 and part 4.
It might not be next year.
Bro.
I was gonna say it's obviously not gonna be this year.
Someday.
I mean,
unless you marathon in the next 2 weeks.
I know, right?
That's a lot of episodes. I mean,
on a side note, my friend Robert, he actually marathoned all 5 parts in like a week.
God damn.
He was not playing.
He had the time stone.
That's what I'm saying. He had that.
I mean, you could. I'm gonna say it. You could just wait till part 7 and start from there. You could do
I
that.
wouldn't do that.
You definitely can for reasons. You could definitely just start from part 7, but I won't say no further than that. I don't want to get into nothing.
Also,
okay, so
can I say something real quick, Sage?
What's up?
I think it was you. You mentioned something about a theme song is really good. Man, that changed our intro, bro. Man, bro.
Oh, kickback, yeah, kickback. Doom,
Kickback,
doom,
yeah.
doom, doom,
Bro.
doom, doom.
Bro.
Da 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 da.
Bro, that intro is one of the most live. That might be my new favorite intro. My new favorite
heck yeah.
intro.
And all the little movie
Yeah.
references in the intro.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Bro, that intro, that song is fire, man. My favorite intro was the original season of Attack on Titan.
Gurren no Yumiya. Yeah, it's a classic.
But this Chainsaw Man intro, boy, they put their foot in it, all of them.
You know what? I am actually surprised that we didn't talk more about Chainsaw Man. Like I didn't watch it because I'm sorry. Like I looked at the dude and I
Body
said,
horror.
He's
Okay,
a man
gotta
with
change-
chainsaws.
I
I
don't
don't want
know.
to see that shit.
Like he got a chainsaw for head. Sage said, "I'm out."
no, I mean like you know what? Like I watched No Guns Life, and the dude had a gun for a head, and I was like, that's cool. You know, he
Yeah.
had a gun for a head, and he had like hands. He was just a regular dude outside the fact that he had a gun for a head. This dude got chainsaw arms and a chain. It's too
Yeah.
much. It's just
Not
too
all
much,
the time.
man.
Let it rip.
I know it is like a henshin type thing. So I mean,
Yeah.
I got respect for that. But I looked at it. I'm like, chainsaw arms and a chainsaw head. Come on,
It's a
now.
little overkill. I ain't gonna lie, but hey,
It,
man.
it is. man.
Edward
It
chainsaw
is
hands.
crazy.
I couldn't do it, man. I said, no.
Yes, I'm here for
He
it.
get the
man.
job done. He get the
He
job.
definitely
I
get the
can
job
only
done.
imagine.
I'll say
With
the
the
only
powers-
reason that Chainsaw Man wasn't on my list is just that I feel like we're just getting started with it. Like based on like what is like episode
Yeah.
8 is the one where shit really hits the fan. So I feel
Mm.
like
Mhm.
with
We're at episode
I
10
think
right now.
huh?
I said we're at episode 10 right now.
Yeah, but I think episode 8 is the one where things like really pop off. So yeah, I can't wait till season 2. I'll put it that way. I think
Okay.
that's really gonna actually it reminds me of My Hero, where My Hero season 1 it was good, but it's like it's
We just getting started.
yeah we just getting started exactly, and then season 2 is the
Mhm.
one where like oh yeah this is good. I feel like Chainsaw Man is gonna be
Mhm.
like that, where season 1's good, no doubt. There's a lot of production that's put into it, but I feel like
Right.
once we get to season 2, that's when we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes. So
I feel you on that. So this last question is kind of superfluous, but it's kind of not. I do want to give y'all a chance to say your anime of the year. And I mean, like you technically did by giving the number 1, but if you want to like hype up one anime, just everybody like, hey, this was 2022, the anime you gotta go see. Terrence, what's up?
So I said my number 1 was Cyberpunk Edge Runners, and the reason for me, and I kind of said this early on, is that everything now is chasing like that franchise, or you want multiple seasons, and I'll give every once in a while an anime comes along and it tells a story in just one season, and that's all it needs. And Cyberpunk is like that. It
Mhm.
reminds me of another Netflix anime, Devilman Crybaby, where it came along, it told its story in 10 episodes, and it's highly rewatchable. Like Devilman Crybaby,
Yeah.
you watch that, and if you rewatch it again, you start to see like, oh, that why this happened is because of this, and you like start connecting all the dots, and it's just really cool to rewatch that. It's the reason why last year Vivi Fluorite Eyes Song was my favorite anime of the year, was because it was one season. It told an excellent story from start to finish, had a fantastic conclusion, and it dipped. That's all it needed. And I know for some people, we talked about, we had a whole podcast about long versus short anime, and we talked about how with short anime, they can be forgettable just because with longer anime, because they keep going, they have that ability to like permeate the minds of everyone. I mean, look at Naruto. Naruto is technically still going with Boruto, and so he hasn't left. I mean, he's still as relevant today, if not more relevant now than what he was not 20 years ago, but what was the anniversary? Well, technically Naruto did celebrate a 20th anniversary,
Yeah, it's
didn't it?
about over-
It did. I mean, like it came out. I think the anime first hit in 2000.
Yeah. For us, like in
For
America,
us, it was 2006.
yeah. So for us,
So
it
was
hasn't been like 20 years, but you know what I mean. Like it's been
Close
long
enough.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been long enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cyberpunk, I mean, I like the characters. It's one of those anime where you kind of have an idea of how it's going to end. Just from episode 1, when shit hits the fan and what happens at the end of it, you have an idea of how this is all going to come to a close for the protagonist. But it's about the journey and just his friends along the way that you get to you grow closer with all the people that are in the Edge Runners group, and also just there's a great love story that's between pretty much the two main characters.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's just a lot. I just really like Cyberpunk Edge Runners. It made me think too.
It brought back Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that's the thing.
yeah.
Like, it's probably honestly, if what dang it, I don't know why it's leaving my mind. What won best adaptation?
Arcane.
Arcane. That's what
Oh,
I
yeah,
don't know why I
Arcane,
could not
yeah.
think of the name of it. But yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, if Arcane wasn't nominated, I think Cyberpunk would have won best adaptation. It was just really that good.
They cheated
Yeah.
to get that in there, so I agree
Yeah.
with you. Like,
Well,
it was
you know, it's
solid.
kind of like
solid.
next year, Sonic Prime is probably going to be there because it just came out, so it's probably
That
going to
is-
be
that is
nominated.
true.
Which I know we
Very
talked
true.
about how there might not be that category next year. I don't know. I think there will be because we have Sonic Prime, the Mario movie,
Mario.
and we have Last of Us coming out. So I think that category might be
I don't know
alive.
if I said it's not gonna be every. I don't know if I said it wasn't gonna be next year. I just said it wasn't gonna be
It
every.
won't be
year.
every
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
But
I
I'm
don't
just
think
saying
it-
that I think next year, like I think we
Oh,
will
yeah.
have some pretty
Oh,
strong
absolutely.
contenders. Yeah.
Unless we get a video game, television, and movie boom out of nowhere.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, Cyberpunk, I just really like it and I highly recommend it to, you know, anyone who's into you know, the cyberpunk genre or you just want to see a really good adaptation. I just think that it's a solid anime.
I bounced off. I watched the first episode of Cyberpunk and I bounced off it hard. The themes and like, I knew where it was going, and I did have to like look it up for work and stuff like that. So I kind of understand where the plot was going, but like it's not for me. But I understand how it got as popular as it did. It's very beautiful. The first episode is very well done. It's just not. Sometimes you see stuff, and even though it's great, it's just not for you. That's why I don't agree with the idea of objective quality, like or objectively good, because I'm like, just because it's good doesn't mean you're gonna like it. Like everything that's good, you're not
That's
gonna like.
true.
But
Well, and I
mean,
also
it-
say that just real quick, like it was also like this cyberpunk adaptation also reminded us why Trigger is one of the best studios in the game.
Yeah.
Like they're not going anywhere. I mean, Trigger has continued to deliver with top quality, so they're showing their
they just can't
Yeah.
make 6,000 anime like Mappa. But I mean, you're right. They
whenever they put
Studio
something
Trigger is
out, it's
goated.
usually really well done. So yeah.
Studio Trigger is goaded. So like
Yeah.
you are correct about that 100%. All right, Will, is there any last words you want to hype up like your favorite anime of the year?
I don't really have any like true last words, but I will say this before I go into what I'm about to say. When you said mapping they 6,000 shows, that's the anime meal. they just pumping them out.
Man,
They
I was
keep high quality,
looking
though.
at Winter
doing
2023.
great.
Winter 2023 is also looking insane. It's like, man, just so much.
So much to watch.
Somebody pump the brakes,
Pay
please.
them more money.
Thank you, Rakeem. That
That
is
too.
correct. Pay them
That
more
is very
fucking
true.
money.
Well, yeah,
Hey.
that too. Yeah.
I will
Give
advocate
them
for that to the day
a
I'm in
couple
the
more
dirt.
days off.
Please
'Cause
pay
I'm
these
sure
people, bro,
I'm
for
sure
real.
they tired too. Even with
I
the
know
money,
they
it's probably
tired.
gonna be tired.
Hell yeah, they got to be.
You know, Mappa is the one who's like extremely tired.
Get the next battle out. Anyways, yeah. Number one, I said Spy Family, and I'm gonna stick with it because I'm sorry, but I know Chainsaw Man is amazing right now, but like Terrence said, we just getting started with the anime, and I know a lot of people are like, also some manga only readers. That's another topic I would probably talk about another time. But with Spy Family, it having so much of its manga out and it's having this much of the show out already, and the way it's just kind of like hit stateside and just went to just blazing a trail, it's doing everything right. It is. And before we got on the podcast, I mentioned that they announced that there is another season and a movie coming. Spy Family is doing numbers upon numbers, and if you paid attention to any con pictures of this year, you've seen quite a few Anyas.
Oh
whether they've
man,
been-
all the Your
whether they've been
cosplays,
great.
I'm here for it.
War, too.
That too. You see quite a few Anyas, yours, and Lloyd's all around conventions everywhere. Like you can't probably go to a convention all the next year without seeing a bunch of Anyas walking around, whether they be actual children, girls, or buff ass men dressed as Anya.
Yo,
I'm for real. I've seen a
It's
few,
live.
and they be picking up their Yor and Lloyd on their shoulders, just like, "Hi, mom. Hi, dad." I'm just like, bro, y'all are crazy. So I think Spy Family is doing this thing where it's just taking over. It has, and I love it, and it deserves it. Spy Family, anime of the year. It takes it.
Rakeem, you kind of ended on a bar with ranking the Kings, so
You did.
I mean, you ain't
Yeah, I
gotta
feel like
add
there's nothing
to
more
it.
he can say.
That's
You
what
ain't
I'm
got nothing to
saying.
say.
You
Fair.
can if you want to, but if you like, hey man, I said what I got to say.
What
I'll,
more?
I'll
What's
keep
more?
it short and I'll keep it short and
What?
concise. As a child, I loved in media the coming of age story. And I feel like Ranking of Kings encapsulates the coming of age story in its short run so well. And just like Terrence said, how Cyberpunk Edgerunners tells a complete story in one season is done. Even though Ranking of Kings is getting another season, this one season tells one complete story. It feels complete. And even though you really don't get, oddly enough, even though in this first season, you really don't get to the actual Ranking of Kings at all. It's more about Boji, his relationship with his family, his father, the shadows of their past, the prices that he had to pay because of the selfishness or the whims of other people, and how even through all of that, he overcame it. Even through being talked down upon, he overcame it. Even through being betrayed and almost murdered by people who was supposed to protect him, he overcame it and was able to come back, take the throne back, and even have forgiveness.
Won't God do it?
Won't God do it? And I gotta say, man, like once again, the coming of age story of Boji, I feel like is very endearing. I think it will reach a lot of people. And I feel like Ranking of Kings at the top of this year, when it was running, of course, had a lot of momentum and speech, and it's kind of died down because there's so much hit this year. Let's be honest. So it kind of died down a little bit. But if you haven't seen that show, I don't care about. Even though it's the Ranking of Kings, I actually don't care that much about the ranking. I just care about the experience, and it's up to you to experience the Ranking of Kings. I implore you, check it out.
Good Lord, man.
Found another bar.
Good Lord, man. Jeez, you just be coming up with this off the top of the dome,
Hey,
man. I
man.
wish I could do that.
Hey, man.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I feel like
I
I was bumbling through my explanation of
saying, bro.
Cyberpunk, and you out here setting the
That's
world
what I'm
on
saying,
fire
bro.
with these descriptions.
I'm
I
out
want to
here
watch
drinking
Ranking of
my
Kings
words,
again.
and he up here stringing eloquence.
Hey,
look
my
at
show is good.
that cold stare you got, man. Like, yeah, I do this.
Yeah, you know what it
I-
is.
Him.
Devin, do you want to hype up JoJo, or is it just like, hey man, y'all know what it is? You should already be watching JoJo.
Yes, I would like to hype up JoJo. I'm glad
Let's
you
go.
Man, me and Rakeem were I was showing him some of the spin-off series on Netflix with Rohan Kashibe. And how these stories they're not linked to like the actual like Stone Ocean thing, but how the creator Araki, how he can just take these normal situations and make them so tense. An episode where a guy is throwing popcorn in the sky, he has to catch it with his mouth, or else he's gonna die. Like it's a life or death situation. The sun gets in his eyes and he can't see the popcorn. You know, all because he didn't give an old man that was hungry a piece of his sandwich. And now he got to live with this curse for the rest of his life, man.
Exactly what happened.
That shouldn't be that tense for a man. All because I didn't
It
give
shouldn't
this
have
man,
happened.
all because I didn't give him a piece of my sandwich. I'm now cursed for life, bro.
Return
All
the
because I
sandwich
couldn't catch 3 pieces of popcorn in my mouth.
or suffer my curse.
Return the savage.
Well,
You
Return the savage.
Rohan runs into a guy that becomes an avatar for Hermes, the god of muscle. The guy becomes so obsessed with going to the gym, he kills his girlfriend. He kills the gym instructor. He kills the gym instructor. No, he kills the mailman, and he kills the gym instructor's new client.
they had to
because
do with getting gains. Like, what the hell's going on here?
I need my games, man. You can't train nobody else but me.
Holy shit!
I'm gonna have to go kill him. So now you can just train me. So
This is all still about JoJo?
yes, this is the spin-off series of Rohan. He goes on to these other
Rohan
adventures.
Kishibe goes to
Oh,
pet.
I need to watch
Right.
Rohan. That's what it sounds like.
so I say I pull from that spin-off series just to say that this is one of the creators that he has like one of the best abilities to make like tense situations. I'm talking about you be on the edge of your seat, you be sitting like, how they gonna get out of this? And also not only that, but the power that they have, these stands, like even Stone Ocean, the main villain Poochie, which is kind of comes full circle, is Dio's, who was like the original villain, his protege. He met the guy when he was younger. Dio found a liking to him. So he has this power. He kind of gets an upgrade. And it's like the power that he has. Like, bro, how you gonna beat this? Like I said, the ending is like some Final Fantasy type stuff, man. And like I said, I was talking to Sage, like JoJo, for me personally. Like I said, we got Rob onto it. You remember Rakeem just said Rob watched it in like 2 seconds.
You did.
I did the same thing I remember years ago I was like, oh, this is actually, you can watch it now. I just watched it, and I could not put it. I was watching on my phone on the list. I couldn't put my phone down, man.
That's real addiction, because I'm not watching a damn thing
real.
on my phone.
Bro, this was some years ago when I stayed with Rakeem them back in Starville, Mississippi. This was back some years ago, man. I got into JoJo. I'm sitting on my phone, I could not stop watching, man. It was just some of the most clever moments. We got a moment with Joseph. He plays dead, like, against these godlike enemies, and you just like, you'll never see that in the anime. Or, like, somebody play dead. Oh, he's dead. They turn around, wait, he moved. It's like I was laughing so hard. I'm like, bro, this is like, and again, JoJo is his own thing. It doesn't try to be anything else. You will recognize it. It has its own unique stamp. It does weird things with the colors when they have like certain emotional change in the scenes. Like they'll change the color, just be like some off the wall colors. I just love it, man. JoJo for me that's my number one anime. When I started watching it, I always used to see it, the fighting game. Never knew about it until years later. I got into it, and it's like, bro, JoJo is, if you want to see some suspenseful stuff, some dope powers. And they pulled a lot from pop culture. There's a lot of pop culture references in there too.
Definitely that.
A lot of pop culture references, some AC/DC, all type of stuff. You got, I think, a Prince, some Michael Jackson, if I'm not mistaken.
Biggie,
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Jodeci.
Biggie.
Every time I close
I
Dragon
cannot
Ball
believe
Z.
that got turned into an ED. That just
It was great.
that is just
Well,
wild to me.
It's
Every
amazing.
time I
thought that was a
close
joke.
my eyes.
Yes,
Yeah.
bruh. So I just, if you like really unique animes that have just like very interesting, unique characters, if just for anything for the powers, like their stands, their abilities, it's some of the most unique abilities you ever see. Just some off the wall stuff. Just you be like, how does he even come up with this stuff? So if you just really want something that's just like fresh in its own thing, I would say please check out JoJo. That's my personal anime of the year.
I'm not going to hype up Galactic Heroes any more than I already have.
True.
Like, I've talked about it all year. Like, we've talked about Galactic Heroes all year. Me and Keem have talked about how fire it is. And I mean, like, all I'll say is it's a departure from what most people will expect when they go check out an anime. Like, if you're looking for, action, somebody getting punched in the mouth in every episode, you're not going to get that. Some episodes, they just going to be having some tense-ass conversations. But if you care about story, you're going to be on the edge of your seat because them some tense-ass conversations. Like, it's stuff that decides the fate, not just of one planet, but of entire galaxy, like 2 empires, like the conversation they be having and the shit that be going on. It decides the fate of entire empires and shit. And it just shows you how, and like, one of the things, like the shades of gray, where you're like, oh, okay, well, one side is the empire and the other side is like an alliance, free planets, and it's democratic. So that's got to be the good side. No, it ain't got to be the good side. It ain't really no good side. Like, there is no such thing as a fundamentally good government. That's just not how that shit work. And Legend of Galactic Heroes understands that, and it shows that in detail. And even just some of the ways that they show characters and how they develop, how they rise, how some of them fall, all that shit is just perfect. And so, like, I'm not gonna hype it no more than those 30 seconds because I feel like, like, y'all know what it is. If you hadn't checked it out, please go check it out. All right, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this week's episode. If you enjoyed it, I need a few things from you. I need you to do us a favor and hit that subscription button on YouTube. I need you to follow us on Twitter and TikTok. Don't just check us out. Tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your auntie, tell your uncle. I know you think that's weird, but let everybody know it's black people on the internet with a podcast that's not talking about mess and foolishness. Tell your coworkers, exactly. Tell your coworkers you don't know. You might even make a new friend. And do me a personal favor and have an excellent week. And have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays. Spend that time with the people you love, the people you care about, and come back next week and enjoy some more foolishness with us. Some good kind of foolishness, positive kind of foolishness next week. Peace.
Peace out.